Travel is more than just ticking off countries. It's about the people, the culture, the food, the moments. I'm Pippa Hudson, and on Wonder the World, I invite you to join me every week as we explore destinations both near and far, with the help of fellow adventurers who share their unique travel stories. Listen to my podcast wherever you get them.
PrimeMediaPlus.com.
Benji Seitlhamo is my guest, acting director in the Department of Economic Development at the City of Johannesburg. Thank you so much for joining us, good sir. Welcome to 702.
Thank you so much for the invitation and for having me in the show.
Let's just take a few steps back, because not everyone, I suppose, has been following this very closely. We often speak about Spaza shops when really the industry is on flames and you need a quick fire extinguisher. So a number of people may not be well affair with the issues here. Why firstly the fund? And if you can just speak about that. And I know that you are restricted to the City of Joburg. That's quite okay with us. But tell us a little bit about the fund and its intents and what it contains.
Yeah, so thank you for the invitation. So we are working with, obviously, the Department of Small Business and Development at the DTIC in issuing out this Spaza Shop Fund to local Spaza Shop owners in the City of Johannesburg. Here we are talking about locals, meaning nationals, South African nationals, who are compliant in terms of the bylaws of the City of Johannesburg and are then able to access this fund through an application that they would have to do online. So there are certain criteria that the Department of Small Business and Development have identified, and I don't want to speak to that because that's their command. But what I want to speak about as the City of Johannesburg is that we are supporting the fund, we are supporting our local Spaza shop owners to be compliant and to qualify for the fund. And how do we do that? We make sure that we expedite the applications for those who are compliant. However, unfortunately for us, we, through the capturing of the hard copies that we have received, the applications, we have realized that the majority of our applicants are not compliant. However, we are by law required to assist and make sure that some of them who honestly their infringements are not that much are able to be assisted by the city through various mitigations for them to be able to apply for this fund.
Do we have an impression? Forgive me, good sir. Do we have an impression as to how many are compliant percentage-wise, given the vastness of the city, and what are the key issues that make them not to comply? Those that are not, of course.
Yeah. So let me give an example of Region D, which is where we are now, because I'm in a public meeting currently.
Okay.
So far we've captured manually, because we do have two systems, a manual system and an online system.
Yeah.
So with the manual system that we are using to capture the hard copies we've received so far, in terms of Region D, Soweto, we've captured 228 applications so far, but we continue to capture. This is not a true reflection of Soweto, the number of Spaza shops in Soweto. So far we've captured 228. And then from those 228, only 50 applications have a health certificate and a fire certificate. So this gives you a picture that people are not compliant.
Yeah, only 50 out of 228. 228.
Yeah. 228, you only have 50 Spaza shops that have health and fire certificate. And then out of that 228, you only have 17 that have a fire certificate and not a health certificate. But then also that shows you that there's issues there, because how do you then, as a Spaza shop applicant, receive a fire certificate while you have not so how do you receive a COA, a health certificate, if you've not satisfied a fire certificate compliance? Because there are stages to this compliance issues. You need to get your business plan, you need to get your business approval. Sorry about that, because there are people tweeting me that disturbing. You need to get your Spaza shop plan approved by the Department of Development Planning. Once you've done that, the second stage will be for the fire department to visit your site, your business operations, make sure that you are fire compliant, and then issue you out with a fire certificate. Once they've done that, the next department in line will be environmental health, who will then also do an assessment using the two permits that you've already received in advance. Make sure that you then get your environmental health, meaning that you are able to handle food and sell food to people.
Sure.
So those are the 3 stages.
Yeah.
And then the last stage that economic development will do, we will then issue out with a Spaza shop permit, having satisfied all the 3 stages. However, some people have managed to skip those processes. How? We don't know. So it shows that there are a lot of criminal activities happening.
I was just about to say that we know.
Yes.
We know.
Yes. We know.
Yeah.
Criminal activities. We know also that there's a lot of invalid documents, fake documents that we've received in the vetting and verification process. Hence, the vetting and verification process is so critical and important to this process because we have identified gaps there. We have identified people, locals and non-South African, who have submitted fake documents to us.
Yeah.
And hence, the vetting process is a bit slower because we need to make
So
Ntate
Seitlhamo, I have little time, and I appreciate your context. It's very important to me. I just want, now, thus far, I mean, that sounded like 24%, if my maths is correct, of those who had those 2 critical certificates. But those who've received permits thus far, I assume now eligible to benefit from the fund. Where is that number? What percentage is, where are we as far as that is? Everyone who's completely compliant.
So, Khosi, here's the challenge. So the people that have submitted that 50-50 from the 200 million, just speaking of Region D, Soweto.
Yes.
The Department of Development Planning is still busy with vetting and verifying their building plans.
Yeah.
Because remember, there's also violations there. Our people have built beyond the boundary.
Yeah.
As Spaza shop also, you are not supposed, as Spaza shop is not supposed to be owned in terms of the bylaws by a non-South African. A Spaza shop is a house shop that is supposed to be owned by a homeowner, a South African. But if the minute you find a non-South African, there's already a bylaw violation. And actually, if you then you want to rent out a Spaza shop to a foreigner, you must then do a rezoning application where we then zone your Spaza shop as a business. Now, it's no longer a house shop.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with these issues, and these issues have affected the vetting and verification process and slowed down. So we are at the point, Minero, where we've not even issued 1 permit because our people are not compliant.
So there are plenty of questions coming through, and I don't want to monopolize our discussion and monopolize your time here by just interacting with you. A number of our listeners have sent through questions, and I urge you to do the same. You may want to find out if you comply and what are other processes. Feel free to send a voice note to 072-702-1702, and to that very same number you can also text your message. Alternatively, call us on 011-883-0702. Let me start first with a written question, if you will, Abel. It says, Thabo, please ask how applications received both manually and electronically versus those captured.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand that question. Coming from Lungi.
No, I understand it. So Thabo, we've received applications manually for now, because at that point we did not have an online portal system.
Yeah.
However, because now we do have a portal system, currently the scholarship applications we've received, we are now uploading into the portal system. So that the second phase, what we're going to do, we're going to announce to the public and say, you can now apply online. That way they can then apply through the portal system instead of coming to our regional offices and submitting hard copies.
Yeah.
But for now, we have not opened up that system for the public to use. In terms of the applications that we've received so far, since the opening process, the registration process, I can talk to you about 2,500 from the City of Johannesburg as a whole.
Oh, 2,500. Let's take a voice note on 072-702-1702.
Hi, Thabo. I have a question for your guest. May you please ask, what is the definition of a Spaza shop? And follow up to that, what is what types of businesses is this limited to?
Benji
Manyathela, thank you.
Thanks. Benji Seitlhamo?
The first one I can answer. The second one is a bit confused. So the first one, as I've said at the top, a Spaza shop is a house shop. A shop that is next to your shop that you build inside your yard. And in terms of requirement, it's not supposed to be more than 20 square meters in terms of the size. we can allow, the city can waive and maybe say 25 square meters. That's a house shop, a shop that's in your residential area. There are obviously bylaw requirements that you're not supposed to be sleeping in it, you're not supposed to be doing all sorts of things in it. But that shop is supposed to be also owned by the homeowner. I spoke earlier about you that if the homeowner decides to rent it out, then it changes into a business.
Yes.
And then there are also requirements for that to qualify. You must do the rezoning and so forth. The second one is confusing. I'm not getting the question. Maybe you can clarify it for me.
We will just go back to that one in a short while. It's 12 minutes to 11 o'clock. You are on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
702 indeed, 9 minutes to 11 o'clock. If you've just joined us, we are speaking about the Spaza space, Spaza sector, if you will. There is a fund worth about 500 million rand. It was launched last month, and it aims to assist township and rural entrepreneurs with financial and non-financial support. And we are speaking now to Mr. Benji Seitlhamo, who's acting director in the Department of Economic Development in the City of Johannesburg. He's my guest, and we are trying to find out how many Spaza shops are benefiting or stand to benefit from this fund. How viable is this fund? What is the state of our Spaza shops? And let's not wait for urgent and emergency situations to come out first before we speak about this very important sector. Mr. Seitlhamo, I'll be just taking some few questions from our listeners, but just generally, as we are speaking right now, on the 26th of May 2025, if you were to hand out some financial and non-financial help to qualifying Spaza shops in the city of Johannesburg, how many would there be? Those who qualify completely?
None.
Heaven.
Unfortunately. And it's because of the vetting process and also the issues that I've identified earlier of invalid documents and so forth. So we are busy doing the vetting and verification.
So zero qualifies in the city of Johannesburg?
If you follow the bylaw to the latter.
Yes.
As it is. Zero.
And how the number of anticipated Spazas, you did mention 223, and both you and I agree that
for
Soweto.
Those for Soweto.
No, I was just about to say, even if it's for Soweto, you and I would agree that that's not a true reflection. What would you anticipate it to be generally in the city of Joburg?
If you look at the previous numbers where our colleagues from environmental health were doing their COAs, which is also known as a health certificate, we're talking about 5,000 Spaza shops at that time. We do have the data of those Spaza shops that had registered for COAs, which is only that one part of the compliance, the partial compliance of having a health certificate so that you are able to handle food as a Spaza shop. However, those Spaza shops owners that we had that database, not all of them came to register. So we are fully aware of the City of Johannesburg that currently there are still Spaza shop owners who are operating illegally. Hence, we are continuing with the compliance monitoring, we are continuing with the inspections, and we're also continuing with closing off. I'm sure you must just drive around Soweto and Ara. You'll see a number of Spaza shops have closed because we need to close them. We need to issue them out with the notice in line with the directive by the executive mayor, in line with the directive.
Now, what's going to happen to this fund in the city if zero Spazas are compliant?
No. So hence we are expediting, and hence we've been calling these regional stakeholder engagement meetings because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that our locals qualify for this fund. We want to make sure that at least by the first or second week of July, we would have issued out at least 200 or 250 temporary Spaza shop permits as a mitigation so that we allow our people to be able to access this fund. This funding is very important to our people, and we don't want them to be excluded based on bylaws, but also we want our people to follow the law because it's important for them to follow the law.
Let's
quickly everything that is.
Apologies. Let me quickly bring in some listeners, if you don't mind, because I would like you to respond to what they're asking. 072-702-1702.
Hi, Thabo and the 702 land. This is Louis speaking here. I just want to find out something. Based on what your guest has just said, it sounds like it's like definitely a mission to get a tax shop registered. Now, my question is actually, what is the tax shop? What how do I ask this? How was the tuck shop designed? Was it designed to be like a professional business or just a simpler way of someone trying to survive? Because it like, as he says, it's like it's very, very difficult to get through all those vetting and application and everything. Thanks, sir.
Good morning, Thabo. So they say a Spaza shop is supposed to be owned by a homeowner. What if a South African who is unemployed also doesn't have a home, doesn't own a home? Does that mean they cannot run or own a Spaza shop?
Okay.
They have to rent it, and then it has to be rezoned as a business. Whilst is a South African who is desperate, unemployed, and does not have their own home because they can't afford it.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Benji Seitlhamo, please respond to that. We don't have a lot of time, sir. If you don't
Okay.
if you don't mind condensing it to a
I'll be
minute.
brief.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Thabo, bylaws are bylaws. Unfortunately, whether you're a South African or non-South African, bylaws are bylaws. So, even though you are a South African and you do not have your own home and you want to run a Spaza shop, then you'll have to rent it out from another South African. Then that will then have to be rezoned into a business. That's a bylaw. It's not me. It's not personal feelings. It's a bylaw that must be followed to the letter. We want to enforce bylaws in the City of Johannesburg, and we are starting with this sector. The other sectors are following. You will see that we are also busy in the inner city with the informal trading permit, where we want to enforce bylaws in the inner city. So whether you are South African or not, we must follow the bylaws. In terms of a Spaza shop, I want to reiterate, I've said it, a Spaza shop is a house shop. How you want to run it as an owner, it's all up to you. If you want to treat it as a professional setup or you want to treat it as a hustle, it's all up to you. But we as the City of Johannesburg have a bylaw that you must follow if you want to own or run a Spaza shop in the City of Johannesburg. And I'm hoping that our people will also play their part as we continue to assist them with making sure that they are compliant. And at the moment, hence we have this regional stakeholder engagements where we will be going region to region, from region A to region G, engaging with our people, engaging with the locals to ensure that those that are at least partially compliant, we assist them to be fully compliant so that they can be able to access the funding. Those who are not compliant, for us to assist them to make sure that they start to be compliant. That's the intention of this.
Really appreciate your time. We should do it again very soon. This is very important. Benji Seitlhamo, Acting Director in the Department of Economic Development in the City